a.m. right here on Jocks. Hugh Freeze out at Auburn. They go down to Kentucky 10-3 over the weekend. Georgia took out Florida 24-20. Ole Miss over South Carolina 30-14. Texas over Vandy 34-31. Oklahoma over Tennessee 33-27. And Mississippi State breaks their losing streak in the Southeastern Conference over the weekend, 38-35 against Arkansas. Heck of a play late in that game to be able to get that win. But we're going to go to Tyler Watts now, former Alabama quarterback who was not on the call of a game over the weekend. You've been around college football in the state. You know what it's about. You know what it means. What were your initial thoughts when you heard that Hugh Freeze was no longer going to be Auburn's head coach yesterday?
Not necessarily surprised. However, you feel for everybody that's involved in the situation. It just blows my mind. I mean, it's not a bad football team in my opinion. I mean, y'all talked about it a lot. That defense is always going to keep you in the game, but just one particular. Well, and it's not really one position necessarily. I think the quarterback obviously gets all the blame, but there's a lot of issues across the front, especially Saturday night, that not too many folks would have had success sitting back there in the pocket. But I still, just at looking at the reaction of the coaches during the course of the game, you got to think there's some plays to be made out there that just weren't getting made. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, it's all about the results, and you got to find ways to win games. And unfortunately, Cole, you've been through it. I've been through it, to where you had a midseason coaching change. Y'all got rid of your coach during the course of the season. We fired a coach in Mike Dubose, and he coached the remainder of the season. I don't think there's a really great way of doing it. But I think if it is a decision you're going to make, you go ahead and pull the trigger, get a new voice in there, and maybe you can create some energy down the stretch.
What do you think the personality trait needs to be for a successful head coach in college football this year or in the future? Like, I think more so than ever before, you have to have tremendous exo acumen. You have to know how to manage the game. Like, whether that's going for, and for example, not to bring like Alabama into this, I think Kalen DeBoer is phenomenal on game day. Just having a sense and a feel like, all right, I got to go for it on this fourth down. And it's not all analytics, by the way. There's been several times he's gone for it on fourth down when the book says punt. You know what I mean? Like, there's been a handful of those. The book says kick it, and he says, no, I just have a feel. He has an understanding. So how important do you think the head coach's job is nowadays in managing the game towards the finish line?
Listen, you as a head coach, you still set the tone for what your football team is from a personality standpoint. And I think all these guys at that level, I think they all know X's and O's, man. You put them up on a chalkboard and they're as good. They know what they're talking about. So maybe it's a balance of the two you got to be really good on game day of coaching and making adjustments and play calling and have good support staff. But you also got to be a trendsetter of setting the energy level. And I think that's one thing Coach DeBoer has really amped up and made huge strides this season in adjusting his personality and his demeanor in the locker room, on the practice field, and during the course of the game of having that edge and that intensity that players still feed off of. You know, they all get coached up, but man, you got to motivate your players, and you have to be the one that sets the tone, the expectations, and holding everybody accountable. So I think it's a balance of the two.
Tyler Watts joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, usually discussing his game that he has broadcast for the Crimson Tide. They did not have one this weekend. LSU coming up, it's obviously a massive game for a lot of different reasons. A lot on the line still for Alabama, but there are some tricky matchup aspects to this game for the Crimson Tide. As you started to take a look at it, I'm sure over the weekend, what are your initial thoughts on what needs to happen for Alabama in this particular game?
Well, this is kind of the first game over the next four weeks where you're going to have a new voice in the opposing locker room, and what has adjusted and changed for LSU. I mean, are they going to be more aggressive offensively? Are they going to be able to do anything differently offensively? But I think the key matchup that everyone's probably going to be looking at is LSU's probably going to get a little healthier on the defensive side and get back to form of what they were earlier in the season of being disruptors. So can we protect? We had a tough stretch over the last 5 weeks when we had good speed rushers on the edge. It caused a lot of problems. And LSU, from a personnel standpoint, when they're healthy, is a pretty doggone good defensive unit that can create a lot of issues and problems. So, they're going to want to muck it up, and keep a low-scoring game if they can. So Alabama's going to have to be solid across the front, because when they've allowed a clean pocket for Ty Simpson, this has been as good of an offense as there is across the country. So that's kind of the biggest thing. And defensively, I think you just have to continue to play the way that you have, be opportunistic, try to create turnovers. LSU kind of struggled running the football all season long, similar to last year. So can you make them one-dimensional?
Are you pretty convinced that the running game for Alabama can get going? I think they lack a true home run hitter, frankly, and that's okay. I don't think you necessarily have to have one. I think 3 yards, 4 yards in a cloud of dust is perfectly fine with how they throw it. But would that have been the number one priority for you in the bye week, to find some big plays on the ground?
You definitely would like to be more balanced than what you currently are. And by balance, I'm not talking about just number of plays, obviously, but the ability to consistently pick up 3 and 4 yards, right? And it has been tough. But I have heard Cole over the last several years talk about this, that he has now sold me on sometimes the mentality of an offensive unit is are you play bully ball up front? Is that what you're accustomed to, or are you better in pass pro? And, yeah, I think that there's still some yards. Because I go back to the Georgia game and, quite honestly, the Missouri game, where you kind of struggled to run the football throughout the 4 quarters. But when you had to have it, you found a way to get positive yardage and set up second and third in short situations. So you know that it's there. Daniel Hill kind of continues to progress into that number 2 role. He's a bigger body. So maybe he can kind of fill that role of the bruiser when you absolutely have to have it. Because that's what I always think back is when you have to have that 3 or 4 yards to keep the clock going and be able to maintain possession, do you have the ability to get it?
Tyler Watts joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Where do you think Alabama will benefit most from that week off?
Probably just a health standpoint. I mean, you think about it. You're a week closer to getting Quay Russaw back. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but, everybody's beat up and banged up. But just kind of a mental reset as well. I always think about that. It's such a grind of the preparation and the physical nature of the game. So just having that reset of kind of just taking a deep breath as you go into the home stretch is probably the biggest thing. But look, there's plenty of opportunities to learn and continue to get better on both sides of the ball. Defensively, I mean, how can you be more consistent in the secondary and across the front in your run fits of playing really good ball 90% of the time, but you're still giving up a couple of gash runs that are going for big yardage. So plenty of things that they could obviously continue to mentally get ready for, and just prepping down the stretch. I think the coaches obviously get an opportunity to kind of take a peek at some of the opponents coming up so they can get ahead of the game, so to speak, and get prepared here for the last month of the season.
Absolutely. Tyler, always great catching up, man. Appreciate the time, and look forward to catching up with you next week.
Hey, thanks, Bills.
Quick look ahead, GMAC, Alabama, LSU. Like here on Monday, we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, but just like what sticks out to you early when you look at those two teams facing off this weekend?
Well, I think Alabama does have a bit of a challenge in preparing for a ghost this week. I don't know if you see it similarly. There are aspects and challenges of Alabama now having to prepare for a team that has a new offensive play caller, that could very well have a new offensive identity, that might be stubbornly committed to the run. And I honestly think with what we're now hearing at LSU, the different energy around the building, the guys will play hard for Frank Wilson, right? At least I think they will. Maybe I'm crazy, but they'll play hard for him. Wouldn't you anticipate that?
Yes. I think that's actually something that is a little bit unspoken right now that probably needs a little bit more run. I think he's probably the best guy possible to get that team going for the rest of the year. I mean, he's going to take it serious. He's invested. He wants it more than probably anybody else they could have given that job right now. So, yeah, I expect the demeanor of the team to be much improved. when you're talking about what LSU is going to be on the field this year.
Same page. Like I think you better be prepared for war this weekend. I'm not saying that LSU can and will win. I'm just saying you better be prepared for their best punch. I absolutely think that there is a possibility where they are an improved unit off the bye week with the change in leadership because of what Frank Wilson means to that state and what he likely means to those players.
Yeah, I agree. I look at the pressure LSU is going to be capable of bringing. We've seen Alabama struggle with that a little bit. I think that's potentially a difficult part of this matchup. If Jan Pierre keeps going, he could be a huge advantage for Alabama in this game. What James Smith and company have been able to do providing pressure, I think they should be able to get to Nussmeier. But we don't offensively. Are they going to find a little more balance? Be it through formation or anything else along those lines. I think that's going to be interesting to see as well. If they sort of change how they want to operate as an offense, I think that's going to be big.
Completely agree. And I would think they'll be stubbornly committed to the run. I think they found a little something with Harlem Berry. And it's not that he's going to be great in pass pro. He's not going to be great in some aspects. But I can promise you this. That dude with the ball in his hands is a huge problem. And he can create some big plays. He's got a lot of top-end speed. He's got a lot of juice. So I think he'll get a heavy load in this game. Alabama has struggled a little bit at the second and third levels fitting the run. I'm sure that's been a huge point of emphasis in the bye week is to fit the run better defensively and to try to manufacture big plays yourself on the ground. So something worth watching for sure. But I think this game, I think in some cases you would expect teams to kind of mail it in. I don't see it happening this week with LSU. I think they'll play hard. I think they'll play really hard.
Yeah, I think a little bit of rest. With Frank Wilson at the helm, it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm with you. I think things will be different for LSU, and I think it's got a chance to be maybe a little bit more of a complicated game for Alabama than a lot of people are discussing right now. Before we get to break, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's been serving this community for nearly 200 years. The experience that you have when you walk in the door is second to none. I've always appreciated everything they've provided me and my family, and I know that my sons will hopefully end up buying stuff there. My kids will end up buying stuff there. Like, it's a family business that I want to be associated with. So very grateful to the experience. You walk in the door, you see timeless pieces of jewelry, stuff that will last for multiple generations, diamonds that are amazing, watch selection that's incredible. Go and check them out in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit. Bromberg's the very best, especially knowing that Christmas is coming up. Go and start to take advantage. Go and start to think about, hey, I'm going to have to get something big here in a couple weeks. Maybe you go and do it now, and they can get you pointed in the right direction. So go and check out Bromberg's in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit.
All right, when we come back, I have some numbers around this SEC season. It's in its entirety that I think you will find very intriguing. We'll discuss that next right here on Jocks.
9:17 Birmingham, Alabama. 10:17 in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Cole is right now, getting ready for Read and React tonight. Funny story. I actually walked downstairs this morning, and the kids were up at like 3 in the morning. It felt like, goodness gracious. The time change has not been good for us, but it is what it is. Kids were up early. We were up early. And Cole, I walk into our bedroom where Vince was posted up, and guess what he was watching?
Some old Read and React?
Read and React last week, where you guys are, I probably 30 minutes of the show. I don't even know how long he was into it. You guys were putting candies up and ranking the teams based on where they'd go to the SEC championship game. So that is my 6-year-old son that has voluntarily decided to go and support his dad's very close friend, Cole Cubelic, at 6 in the morning on a Monday.
I'll allow it.
He especially liked when you guys put a vampire emoji up as opposed to a candy emoji when it came to Texas A&M's prospects of making the SEC championship.
Yeah, we've been gunning for the younger demo, mainly that 6 to 8 range. That's Daddy, been a focal point for us.
I told him, I said, that's Daddy's good friend, Mr. Cole. He said, I know, I love Mr. Cole. He's great. And he said, I want to watch this tonight. I said, sounds good, bud. After your soccer game, we'll come home and we'll watch it tonight. So we're going to be watching Read and React live tonight. Well, on record tonight when you guys get ready to roll. So you've got a new fan.
All right. Maybe give him a shout out tonight. See if we can figure that out. But I tell him I appreciate it. And I hopefully he was in line with my why is the candy corn being noted as the positives for teams going somewhere. Like, this should not be the trick.
Yes.
That should be the trick, not the treat. Speaking of candy corn.
And you said the wrapper one is no different than the candy corn, so is indecipherable. Yes, I've noticed that as well. Very good done. Well done. Timely.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we'll have some fun tonight. We got a lot to talk about. It was a weird weekend in the SEC, man. Like, we both thought Florida was going to be complicated for Georgia. We were close to picking that thing out right for the Gators. They made it complicated for the Bulldogs.
In every way, by the way.
24-20, Georgia gets the win. Gunnar Stockton made some big plays. Lagway started out great, and then it's just like that offense just ran into a wall. Eugene Wilson, 9 for 121. Same thing with Jaden Ball. Like, they had him going early, 15 for 72, and then it's like it just stopped. It was kind of odd how things just felt like they just shut down for Florida's offense in that game. Obviously, you give Georgia's defense some credit, but man, it felt like they were just going to be rolling, and then all of a sudden couldn't get it going. Stockton went for 223, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Zion Branch was amazing, 10 for 112, just 281 yards for Florida. Florida didn't turn it over, and they had opportunities. GMAC had opportunities late to take this game and just couldn't get it done.
Did you think he caught it, by the way, J. Mike Sturdivant there at the end?
It's tough to tell.
Up in arms. To me, a lot of people up in arms. I'm like, dude, I can't tell you for sure. It was called incomplete on the field. I don't know for sure. I know it hit something. Do I think it hit his hands or his forearms? Yeah, kind of, I think. But I also don't know for sure if it didn't hit the ground. So that to me is why I'm like kind of amazed by this. If it was called incomplete on the field, there was nothing in the video replay to overturn the call on the field. Like, do I think he caught it? Probably, but like I don't know that for sure, not beyond all doubt.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a problem with it. I was just kind of amazed at how many people were just completely up in arms about it.
Yeah, it was definitely odd, and one that I think a lot of folks are just going to remember as a big piece of this game. The final score probably not indicative of what the game was through the majority of the actual game. Ole Miss takes down South Carolina 30-14. I mean, this game was close late third. Ole Miss gets to 8-1, South Carolina 3-6. Literally Lenore Sellers is running for his life. And the crazy part was, like, they kind of got face on going a couple of times in this game. Like, you're watching, and it's like, all right, a little something off tackle here. Yeah, a little pin and pull going. And, like, he's getting downhill, and then they would just completely go away from it and not come back to it for a while. There's just no consistency, no rhythm in that offense. And the protection, what they can do up front or not do up front is a big part of that. But I was most impressed with how the Ole Miss offensive line handled South Carolina's front. And I should probably rephrase that because people are going to hear handled and think that I mean like they bullied them, because they didn't do that at all. That's definitely not it. But they didn't get run over or run through. Like they managed a lot of movement up front for the most part. They did some good things in pass protection. I just thought that I thought the quarterback was off early and then found a little bit of a rhythm late and was able to get some things going. Tight end's big for Ole Miss again. Kejuan Lacey's incredible, man. Like he's got to be one of the most underrated players in the league. I don't think it's even close. Just all the different things that he does for this Ole Miss offense. Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, we've been giving him love since you saw him week 1. You're like, hey, they're different at running back. Take a peek. And I watched, I was like, goodness gracious. We've been all over him from the get-go. So he might not get the credit nationally that he probably deserves, but that guy's the real deal, man. Like, he's a very, very good football player.
I would agree. So Ole Miss gets to 8-1 with that win over South Carolina, and Texas takes out Vanderbilt. You and I were on different sides of this one. I liked Vandy here. You liked Texas. Pavia has a huge game. A lot of this in comeback mode. 27-38, 365, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Ran for 43 and a touchdown. But Vanderbilt as a team ran 24 times for 58 yards. Not where they are. I mean, this was the ultimate game. There were 2 games this weekend that I thought went this direction. Auburn, Kentucky, Vandy, Texas. Style of fight games. Kentucky got that thing exactly where they wanted it with Auburn. Let's drag this thing out into the alley like Mexican street rules fight. Anything goes. No holds barred. Just last man standing. That's exactly what they wanted. And this is exactly what Texas wanted. Let's turn this into a track meet, like Daytona 500. Who's got the better athletes? Who can get to the highest gear more often? And I'll give Vandy credit for battling back. I mean, they found their way back in the game, had some opportunities late, could have gotten the onside kick. But this came down to 2 things that I noticed most in this game, Greg. One, we've mentioned it with the skill guys for Texas. If they are making people miss and they are creating plays on high percentage throws, it feels like it's all going to go. When that happens, it's all going to work. When it doesn't, it gets bogged down in the mud fast. And then we talked about this last week, the edges on the Texas defense, because they were going to be put in conflict and they were going to have to either be disciplined and stay at home, or they were going to have to attack to the point where they caused the problem for the Vanderbilt offense, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, you saw Colin Simmons early force the fumble. You saw them be very disciplined, staying at home a couple of times. You saw them playing flat down the line of scrimmage. You saw them attack the mesh. They played it in different ways, but Trey Moore was great. Ethan Burke was great. Colin Simmons was great, and that's what got Vanderbilt away from who they are. And then, honestly, it kept Vanderbilt from coming back and winning the game because they disrupted the pocket on a consistent basis when it had to turn into a drop-back fest for Vandy.
Here's what I loved most about it, and I said this 15 times during the game, and it was like begging to an extent, just absolutely begging Vanderbilt to abandon all this misdirection, eye candy, fake reverses, slow meshes, slow runs. Everything was just so slow developing for Vandy the whole offensive game. And you know what Texas said? They said, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to pin my ears back and I'm going to run right at Diego Pavia. And if I get got, I get got. So be it. But guess what? I'm going to run right at the mesh point and I'm going to hit that quarterback. And I think that if we just get in the backfield as fast as humanly possible, none of that eye violation stuff's going to matter. Think about how many plays behind the line of scrimmage Texas made. They were not playing keys at all. They were just firing their gun, man. And it was, if Vandy had made a couple better decisions, could Texas have gotten gashed? Heck yeah. But guess what? They were back in the back.
Yeah.
They were back in the backfield a couple times so fast it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, there were a couple that were there. And again, I compared these 2 games. I'll compare them again. It was the same thing with the Auburn defense. They were like, we do not care about Cutter Bully keeping his own read. Like, Amaris Williams was shot out of a cannon a couple of times in that defense. And then later in the game, Bully keeps 1 or 2 and picks up like 6 or 8 yards. But I'm with you. Like, they forced the quick decisions on the Vanderbilt offense, and that's how you get them out of rhythm. You make them make decisions before they want to, and then instead of making you wrong, you force them into either one or the other. Whether it's right or wrong, you force their hand early. And I thought Kwiatkowski did that, and it was a great job by the Texas edges and the Texas defense to be able to sort of force that and put them – you almost put them in conflict instead of them putting you in conflict. Like you flip the script on them, and that's what they needed to do, and it's what they did. I didn't see Oklahoma-Tennessee going this way. And I'll say this. This is one that I hear other people talking about, and I see things on social, and I hear commentary about it after our game. It just felt really different when I actually watched it. And keep in mind, like Greg and I don't watch the actual games a lot of the times and see momentum and flow and feel and adversity as much as like some of you guys do. But this is not what I expected it to be when I put it on. This was a whole bunch of John Mateer getting them out of trouble. And I give him credit. He made plays. I mean, he was spectacular with moving around, getting the ball out before he finally was in trouble. But, I mean, he just maneuvered this thing to the point of, I'm going to find something, and I'm going to move around to the point where somebody's out there that I can get the ball to, and we're going to be able to make a play. Run after the catch was pretty good for Oklahoma. But this was also, Greg, I felt like this was the first time Oklahoma was kind of okay with a little bit of a dink and dunk offense. Like, we'll take the underneath, and we'll be okay with that. Like, we don't have to just push it down the field all the time. Maybe some of that was him having to move as much as he did. Right. But I expected that, based on what I heard, I expected the Tennessee offense to look a lot worse than it did. And I outside of the turnovers, I didn't think it was that bad.
No, they were fine in the game. Anybody that said that Tennessee's offense looked bad, like they were moving the ball. They made some critical mistakes. I mean, they made some big mistakes. I thought Aguilar on 3 or 4 different occasions trying to do too much, and it led to points being wiped off the board. This is kind of not to like toot my own horn. I kind of thought this game was going to go exactly like this. I thought that the pressure from Oklahoma, I thought some of the disruption from Oklahoma would lead to him maybe speeding up his process just a hair. It didn't have as much of a havoc impact as I expected, but it did have enough of an impact in which it kind of forced him to play a little bit aggressively, and they took advantage of it. In this game from Oklahoma, they had come into the game without having created a lot of turnovers all season long, and I was kind of amazed and befuddled as to why. Like that group, with how disruptive they are, you felt like a big turnover day was coming. Like it just felt like it was only a matter of time before they had something with turnovers. And it finally kind of came to fruition. The ball kind of bounced their way a little bit, and they took advantage. So I can't say that this one was a surprise to me. I thought Tennessee had some holes that had yet to really be exploited. And it kind of came full circle here. Doesn't mean that Tennessee's still not solid. I thought Oklahoma's passing attack downfield was going to be a little more problematic, but this was a good win for Oklahoma. Like they took advantage of mistakes, and you got to do that. You got to do that in this day and age.
I agree. All right, a couple of more. We'll get to Mississippi State, Arkansas. Look at a couple national games. Those numbers that I told you about the SEC that I need to get to, I'll give you those next when we come back right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Last chance to get in on Hugh Freeze being fired for today. The guys on three-man front will obviously keep that going and keep that conversation moving. And then Paul Feinbaum here the rest of the day on the show. I told you, G-Mac, I had some numbers around the SEC that I found interesting. I wanted to get to those. You're going to have to wait to hear them. But one thing you never have to wait for is your dental care.
That's because Family Dental has you taken care of. They're the urgent care office, or you can be seen the same day in several locations to make it easy on you. In Hoover, Fultondale, Homewood, Alabaster, and Trustful. They get you in on Fridays and Saturdays, and most insurance plans are accepted. So call Family Dental today, 874-9605. That's 874-9605.
I want to know where this takes your brain, what this makes you think maybe about the league. If it changes your opinion on quality of teams, depth of league, or maybe less quality of teams, something along those lines. Let me know kind of just where your head goes here. The average margin of victory right now in conference games this season is 9.9 points. The record low in the SEC in a season is 10.6 points per game. That was many years ago. So we are currently
back in the
witnessing
triple option shrink the game era.
similar to that, yes. So we are currently seeing the closest margin of victory in conference games ever across the SEC. We have had 26 one-score games in the SEC this year. That is tied for the most all time. And we still have a month of football left. 26 one-score games, GMAC.
26.
That is remarkable. And when you look at just how close some of these games have been, where these games have finished, how they have finished, does it just tell you that there may not be many great teams, the depth of the league is better, maybe the bottom of the league is better than they've been? Where does that take you as far as what the league is this year?
Oh, it means that the talent across the board is pretty dang close, man. Like, it is really tight. I think it's as tight as it's ever been from a talent standpoint. Just when you look at, for example, South Carolina, yeah, they have a very difficult looking record right now, do they not? I mean, it's tough. They've won a lot of tough games. Why? Because they're not untalented. They have a first round pick at quarterback. Like, they have players. I mean, they absolutely have guys that can win, but they have one massive liability and they haven't been able to overcome that massive liability. That's why they're at where they're at. So I think when you look at it, it's a really, really difficult slate that you have to run, where the margins are thin. Tell me the difference from an athletic standpoint. I'm talking literally personnel, just straight personnel. How different is Auburn to Vanderbilt? One team's 1-5.
Yeah, they're different, but they're different in different ways. Yeah, I mean, skill position on the perimeter, you're going to lean Auburn. I mean, running backs, I'm going Vanderbilt. I don't even think it's close. I mean, you're taking based on how they're playing the offensive line. You're taking Vandy, but I don't think like with a get off the bus test or a recruiting stars test, you're taking Vandy. But when I put the tape on, that's not even close. Defensive line, you're taking Auburn.
More pros?
I'm gonna say Auburn.
Yes, agreed. And one team is 1-5. The other team is 3-2 in the league right now. Like LSU, who's got more pros than LSU? Not many, right?
Not too many teams out there.
LSU's 2-3 in the league. Ole Miss is 5-1 in the league. Are you taking Oklahoma's personnel over Ole Miss?
Probably.
Are you taking Florida's personnel over Ole Miss?
With Dallas Wilson out for the year, maybe not.
Well, let's just say he is.
That one's an interesting one, by the way, because I love Jaden Ball. I love some of the guys along the front seven for Florida, but we also saw Eccles and Harris, and Franklin had a nice game for Ole Miss up front this week. There's parts of that roster that we like. So that one's closer than I think. That one's closer than I think I would have believed it was right off the shoot. But yeah, it's again, I think to your point, it's close.
It's close.
There are none of these that were pitting against each other that were that is a landslide to that team.
No, none of them. It's unbelievable right now, kind of across the board, just how dang good a lot of these teams are, and how talented they are, and how actually untalented some other teams are. For example, how much of a gap was there between Georgia and everybody else for a matter of 2 or 3 years? Pretty significant gap. Just
one or two other teams close, and then there was a significant drop off.
Yes, massive. That's not the case anymore.
No.
When you watch the tape this week between Georgia and Mississippi State, you will be amazed at how that roster for Georgia isn't way better. Isn't 3 touchdowns better, 4 touchdowns better than Mississippi State? No, it's Georgia. It's Mississippi State. That should be a massive gap, and yet it isn't. It's amazing right now, man. It really is.
Absolutely. All right.
It's all margins. It's all win in the margins. It's all third down. It's all red zone touchdown percentages. It's all fourth down conversions and stealing possessions. It's hidden yardage, and it's big plays given up. The gap has never been this close, ever.
What does this tell you, though, before we go to break? SEC road teams are 9-3 the last 2 weeks. 20-21 overall this season. Because I don't have any answers for that one. It's not supposed to be like that in this league.
I think we're at the point right now in the end of the year where it can get the tiniest bit tougher to play at home, because you as a team can really sense the discomfort in the stands if the game's not going the way the fans expect the game to go. We still have not altered our expectations as fans. We still expect to win every game at home. We still expect to dominate every game at home. Everyone expects that. When things are going great, they're great. Well, when things don't go the way you're expecting them to go based on your expectations in pregame and your expectations throughout the game, so if game's tight in the fourth quarter, it's not supposed to be, that's advantage road team. I really believe that. So I think it's hard. People care in this league. People care greatly in this league. And I think sometimes it can be hard to play at home when you're not playing up to your potential or what the expectation's supposed to be for you and your team.
Yeah, there's no doubt. All right. We will, on the other side, bring you a bad box score of the day and more thoughts on Hugh Freeze's departure at Auburn next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 9:46, Monday, November 3rd, right here on Jocks. There is a reason that Auburn Athletics hand-selected Andrews Sports Medicine's Dr. Benton Imel and Charles Pitts as service routine physicians. They provide the highest quality sports medicine care in an effort to keep the Tiger student-athletes safe, healthy, and competing at the highest level. If Andrews Sports Medicine is a choice for Auburn Athletics, there's no doubt they should be your family's #1 choice for sports medicine and orthopedic care. Andrews Sports Medicine has 7 locations across central Alabama, from Birmingham, Coleman, Gardendale, Hoover, Pelham, and Trussville. They offer same-day, next-day appointments for acute sports injuries. Visit andrewsportsmedicine.com today to begin your journey of achieving victory over injury. All right, let's get to the best of the best, and that is our bad box scores of the day.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me.
That's the game.
It was literally made for this, so we will go to women's college basketball exhibitions over the weekend. The Tennessee Lady
Volunteers.
just got past the Columbus State College.
They feel like they're the Vandals.
No, they're the Patriots.
Buckeyes.
Cougars.
Cougars.
Yeah, they are.
148 to 48.
I'm sorry.
The old triple dig.
Hunch.
They kept it 100.
148 to 48.
There we
was
go.
the score of the game. Most points scored in exhibition or regular season game for the Lady Vols. They had a pretty good day shooting, as you could probably imagine. You know
Sounds
who
like it.
didn't have a good day shooting? That was Columbus State, who finished 4 for 20 from 3.
Okay.
That's actually only 20%. That's not terrible.
It's also not good.
It's not good either.
No,
Not great, but not terrible.
it's not ideal for where you want to go. Also, in women's college basketball exhibition hoops, the LSU Lady
Tigers.
just snuck past the Langston.
They're the Hughes.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Qs,
There you go.
did you say?
Hughes.
No, they're they're the Leopards.
Leopards.
I'm going to say Lions.
Panthers.
Panthers. Wrong cat.
Close enough.
121 to 41. LSU just snuck past
Not quite a triple dig.
Langston. They just missed out on that.
Yeah.
Langston shot 15 of 44 from the field, also going 4 of 20 from 3. They scored less than 15 points in each quarter. LSU was over 27 in each quarter of the game. They forced 36 turnovers in the game.
Well, that's what happens. Lack of ball security. There was a lid on the basket. It was just a rough day.
So that was a 4-quarter double up, is what I'm hearing.
Keep in mind, Langston shot 15 of 44 for the game.
Mm-hmm.
LSU shot 23 of 43 in the first half.
Okay.
They would go on
Shoot
to
more,
go
score more.
21 of 32 in the second half.
Which is hot.
Yeah,
So
a little
hot.
bit of
It
a little bit of a
happens.
differential there. That's not the last one that we'll get to. The Texas Lady.
Longhorns.
Just snuck past the UT Tyler.
Yes, UT Tyler.
They're the creators.
You should know this
The
one, Greg.
Roses.
Oh, so they're the Dragons, I'm assuming.
I said
UT
Roses.
Tyler. I actually don't have it. I gotta find it real quick. My apologies.
No,
I'll
I
find
promise
it,
I'm-
Greg.
need
Tell
to
our listeners about ProLift.
Well, ProLift Doors have been serving this community for a while. They have 200 plus 5-star Google reviews. Just go and check them out by going to ProLift Doors. Look, Mike does a great job here locally. They also have someone in Baldwin County named Jeffrey that can help you out as well. They can work on existing garage doors for repairs. They can install new ones. There's no service call fees. You only pay for the work, not for the visit, which I love. You can upgrade the appearance of your home with the new garage door. So if you have unusual noises, slow response times, vibration, shaking, call for a maintenance service today and find the appropriate phone number for you by going to proliftdoors.com. That's proliftdoors.com. ProLift Garage Doors, lifting your expectations.
Looks like we're the Eagles.
They're the
Eagles.
Patriots.
The Patriots.
Patriots?
Who have
An eagle as a mascot?
There we go.
with the name of Swoop.
Okay, swoop. There it is.
I kind of
No,
like that
what-
name.
Oh, they have a
boy.
player named Swoop, or
No,
That's their mascot name.
yeah,
Okay, that's the name of their mascot.
I
name.
got it. The
Swoop.
mascot's
dude,
name is
yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay, got it. Well, their exhibition game against Texas did not go well, as you could probably imagine. Texas just snuck past the hoop or the swoop or the whoop, whichever one he is. 93-25.
why?
Okay, you kept them from scoring triple digits, so okay, that's a positive.
Clutch.
Is it? I don't know if I don't know if I can agree that that's a plus that you kept a team from going that far. I'm sorry, 98-25, not 93-25.
Oh, even better.
Right.
So-
it's okay.
Listen, bad box today has been a massive fail for today, so I'm gonna pack it in.
Speaking
And
of
it's not a
massive-
massive fail. We got a triple dig.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's legendary.
Anytime you get a triple dig, it's a win.
Well, it's like we get to bad box score of the day, and all of a sudden my internet in the hotel just completely shuts down, and I can't
It's
get
not
to
about that.
anything that I needed.
That's, you know why?
it's about the
because
L's.
UT Tyler Rose, UT Tyler is upset that you're airing the challenges that they had in their most recent matchup.
Including notable alum Brittany Mahomes.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking of L, yeah.
Let's go.
wow.
What, they lost last night.
Congratulations.
Well,
Hey, I mean, all right. Shout out to
we'll
Pat.
take it. Texas also got past Lubbock Christian 102-44.
See?
So,
So shout out to UT Tyler.
Solid triple up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they held him on their triple dig.
I mean, this is what we sign up for in this
Yes.
segment of the show. I mean, this
Confirmed.
is what it is, where it needs to be. So, all right, Hugh
is all
Freeze
we
out.
need.
That's all we got. We only need one. That's what Brian Kelly told us.
It's true.
So, all right, Hugh Freeze out at Auburn. We'll be back tomorrow to discuss it more. Some of these searches, GMAC, where are they gonna? Are any of these going to be announced before the season's over? What are teams? What are you hearing about what teams are going to do as far as the playoff is concerned, and coaches that may be involved there? Because I'm actually hearing more teams right now saying that if their potential guy is going to be in the playoffs and go until January, that they're going to move on and they're not going to sit and wait for that guy to be finished. They're going to have to find somebody else because that portal window and the traditional recruiting window are just too important to skip out on for 1 year.
What I can't understand is you're worried about 1 year. Fine, I get that. Why can't you just say, hey, for example, Tulane makes the playoff. John Summerall can coach Tulane and yet still work on the other job. We have seen Dan Lanning coach the defense at Georgia to a national championship while still being the head coach at Oregon. Like, why is this not? Why this is not some foreign concept? It's been done with success in the past. Why is this so hard for people to wrap their head around? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think some people view it in different ways. They want their guy to be there. They want him to go ahead and be on campus. They want him to get there. You know, I don't know if
I think
it's
it's
a
dumb,
situation
personally.
where. Yeah, I mean, if that's your guy and you know it's everything that you want, and all you have to do is manage them being involved with the team in the playoffs, which by the way is not a bad thing. That somebody is coordinating an offense or a defense in the playoff or coaching a team in the playoff. Now, if it's a head coach, I think the school that he's at currently would view that in a little bit of a different way. Now, I don't know.
Fair.
We haven't seen that yet, but
Tough.
that would be one to be a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know how you manage that one.
You want to win a natty or not? Like,
Well-
I'm taking this job whether you like it. So I can either be here and help you win a natty, or you can tell me to go and you can work with an interim through the playoff. How do you want to handle it?
Exactly. All right, appreciate Paul Feinbaum joining us today. Tyler Watts joining us today. We're back tomorrow continuing updates on the Auburn coaching search, what that means heading into this weekend as DJ Durkin's the interim. Much more around college football, 7 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Keep it locked on Jocks for Three-Man Front. Paul Feinbaum follows them with any breaking news that you may need to know around any coaching searches. Have a great Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday, 7 to 10, right here